Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4. Now, before I get into the unboxing, for those of you that subscribe and have been wondering where I've been for over a month since no content has gone up, I've been battling some pretty serious health issues, but I'm still here, I'm still kicking, and what a way to return with the Z Fold 4. Now, if you follow my channel, you already know I'm a huge Fold fan. That sounds odd, but it really is the best device ever made, in my opinion, if it appeals to you. Of course, if not, then regular candy bars are where it's at. But if you like having two phones in one, we're about to, in my opinion, move up in the world. 1 TB of storage. This is the beige version. I did purchase this. I am trading in my Z Fold 3. We've got a wider body type, shorter. That means it should be easier to use with one hand. It also means that the front display is going to be much more manageable than in days past. We have an improved camera. We have the same battery size, which I know a lot of people are underwhelmed with that. They were hoping for an improvement. We also have the exact same charging speed, capped at 25 watts. These are things I would have liked to have seen Samsung change. We do have an improved camera, which I think is a big deal. If, like me, you love photography, then having a better camera on you all the time is always going to be beneficial. And here is this beauty. Now, I mentioned before, I went with beige. I was just looking to do something a little bit different, and that it is. Gold trim on the sides. I generally always have the black version of just about every phone, so I figured, what the hell, let's do something different. Now, you can see, and maybe you can't, it is a wider yet shorter body, but that should just make it more usable in just about every way in terms of holding it, especially when it's closed. But let's go ahead and remove the stickers. And for those of you wondering, I think, getting the 1 TB for me is something I've been waiting for a long time, and most people don't need it, but the nice thing that Samsung is doing is they are not charging right now, I don't know if that's ended at this point, to get the 512 capacity. So that free memory upgrade was a great deal. Don't know if it's still going on. Water resistance is the same. The hinge feels nice and tight, and it's a good looking phone. I mean, that's nothing new. Let's go ahead and power it on. I think for me personally, the most exciting elements obviously boil down to the fact that this wider form factor is going to make the candy bar version much more usable. So if that was your main complaint, I think this kind of solves it, and I'll just give you a look. By the way, in terms of what else comes in this box, well, nothing. So Samsung really has found a way to package this up for 2K without giving us literally anything in there, but maybe we have something in this portion. Of course, this does support pen input. It does not come with the pen. You have to buy the pen separately. There are a few versions. They do still provide a charging cable. They just don't provide an actual power brick. And I think that's pretty much it. There's some other things in here. Let's see. Paperwork and your SIM slot pin, and that's pretty much it. And now I've made a mess. But let's get that out of the way, including the cable. And let's talk about the actual phone, because I've already mentioned we're dealing with a lighter device, which I think is also relevant. I think it's actually something everybody can agree on. They're looking to see this get lighter, thinner, and they have accomplished that in several ways. But the look and feel of it isn't that different. If you're a Fold user from the previous generation, I won't say prior to Gen 3, because prior to Gen 3, there were some pretty big changes made with Gen 3, and that's pretty much where we're at now. But I think you can already see that side by side. I can bring it closer to the camera, and instantly it's obvious that not only is this display wider, but the phone is actually, the display is a little bit shorter, as you can see that right there. You can just look at the front-facing camera and notice that it is significantly lower on the right in the brand new Z Fold 4. The hinge, that's, I just made mention, a little bit more recessed, it seems, but that could just be an optical illusion. And it's just going to be fun testing this phone out, especially with the new cameras. And don't forget, we've got a great new Snapdragon CPU, which, even though we've got the same size battery, that should potentially make the device more efficient. That's what I'm hoping for. But you still have your, of course, fingerprint scanner. Let's just go around the device. You can see I'm rusty, right? So we've got our volume rocker right there. Then our power button. This is also the fingerprint scanner. And the under-screen display, under-display camera that is right there, it's definitely, I think, a little bit more disguised than on the previous generation, but I don't think it's a vast difference. So that might be the least impressive upgrade so far on this device. Your SIM card slot right there on the left-hand side. Get that in focus if I can. And then, of course, along the top, speaker, microphone array on the bottom. That Type-C charging port, again, capped at 25 watts, so don't get too excited about charging speeds. It's not terrible. I would like to see them upgrade that. But if that's one of the corners they're still cutting in order to make this more affordable, granted it's not really affordable, but the $1,000 offer certainly made it more affordable, then we're moving in a better direction, I think. But I like the fit and finish on this is excellent. It got lighter, but I don't feel like we've made any sacrifices. So, just to recap, we still have 12 gigs of RAM in this bad boy. We still have a Snapdragon processor, but as I mentioned, it should be a marked improvement. I mean, we're going to what should be a much more efficient processor, at least based on what I have seen. So that all bodes really well for this phone out of the box. From a software perspective, I think, besides the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, we've got now a taskbar that is going to be permanently docked on the bottom of the display. You'll see that in my update. I could just start the process here as well, but it's going to take some time, and I don't think anybody's interested in watching that, and I don't really want to edit to fast forward. But that taskbar is going to make multitasking here better. The wider display is going to make multitasking better for split screen. So there are really so many things going on, I think, that makes this a winner compared to the previous gen, even though many people think it's just a little bit of polish. This is the maturation you need to continue to make a product as good as it can possibly be. And that's what Samsung's doing. And as much as anyone out there wants to knock it, there is still nothing on the market that I would actually purchase in place of this. And every generation that we think other manufacturers that are mainstream, whether it's Apple, Google, whoever you want to pick, Moto, no one has stepped up to really challenge this. And I think every year that this gets further entrenched as the folding phone of choice, other than the Flip, every manufacturer is just falling behind enough that they're never going to catch up, it seems, at this rate. But again, that camera's exciting too, because not only do you have a bump in the megapixels, which isn't really that impressive, but we now have 3 times optical zoom. We now have a digital zoom with up to 30 times on this. So there are definitely some improvements with this camera, and that, again, to me, I wish we could go back to when Samsung made the Fold its best of everything phone. But, ever since that first generation, we've taken a step backwards with cost-cutting measures, and the camera modules were inferior to, the traditional Galaxy flagship devices, which I thought was always an insult. So seeing an improvement, granted, this is still not bleeding edge. It's important because I've wanted a better camera. Not that the last generation was bad, it's just it left a lot to be desired. And keep your eyes peeled for updates on this, as well as, of course, accessories, because just a preview of other videos to come. I've got, as you may have imagined, the Watch 5 Pro. This is the LTE version, so we're going to see what that's like. I've also got, of course, the standing cover with pen, and then the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro. So I'll be covering everything top to bottom. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.